Hello, I am Carol Sacerdote, and I'm going to describe the motion under Article 2. In 2023, town meeting passed Article 34 to comply with the MBTA Communities Act to address the regional housing shortage and to produce a variety of housing options. To do this, 3 village overlay districts were created with an expectation that 400 to 800 units would be produced in 4 to 8 years. What Article 34 allowed was an area 5 times the required acreage. This area, together with the absence of density limits and minimal dimensional controls, resulted in a unit capacity calculated in order with the state EOHLC model, which all MBTA communities are required to follow, of 13,421 dwelling units. This capacity is 10 times the minimum requirement, and a number which, if fully built out, would double the number of dwelling units in Lexington. Since the adoption of Article 34 and its approval by the state, the response has been intense. In the last 12 months, the planning board has already received proposals for 10 developments containing nearly 1,100 dwelling units. The minimal dimensional controls and the absence of density limits have resulted in projects that will be larger and more impactful than expected. The MBTA Communities Act has value because we do need to increase the amount of housing in the greater Boston area. However, when we discovered how much would be built in Lexington in time under Article 34, we realized that the town needed to do more planning to accommodate that kind of growth. We need to slow down the growth to be able to provide services and infrastructure for the increased population. In December 2024, we filed for a special town meeting to slow the rate of development, to give the town time to analyze impacts on finances, infrastructures, and services. While I'm the one who initially stepped up, it is clear that the community is concerned and supports action. Thanks to the collaboration of our team, 2 members of the planning board, and planning director Abby McCabe, we now have a compromise motion that meets all compliance requirements. We have reached agreements on areas retained and removed. All projects for which plans have been submitted, that is the pipeline projects, will be allowed to go forward, and we have added dimensional controls for future projects. The districts that have been retained are listed on the left in this slide, and the districts that have been removed are listed on the right. Please note that Stop and Shop, Qdoba, and Walgreens parcels have been removed from the Bedford-Worthen area. Dimensional controls have been added for the new Village Overlay District, which includes parts of East Lexington, Bedford-Worthen, Merritt Spring, and Merritt Waltham. The motion provides for a maximum 28% site coverage, including buildings and required parking, a maximum net floor area ratio of 0.48 for residential units. Together, these requirements will tend to produce more open space and smaller units. The number of dwelling units is limited to 20 per acre in residential-only developments and 25 per acre in mixed-use developments. Additional dimensional controls for the new VO district also include a 40-foot maximum height with a 3-story limit for residential projects and a 50-foot maximum height with a 4-story limit for mixed projects. Mixed-use projects must also have commercial use along the frontage of the building, and the ability to build on small lots has been protected. These are the 10 projects in the development pipeline. They are in 6 of the original districts. Here are renderings of the pipeline projects. There are no changes to the existing zoning for 9 of the pipeline projects. One project at 952 Waltham Street can go forward as proposed, but the parcel does not remain in an overlay district. The compromise motion meets and exceeds all state compliance requirements for acreage, contiguous acreage, unit capacity, and units per acre. The compromise motion reduces the acreage under MBTA zoning. Note that the area in overlay districts was stated as 253 acres in 2023, but the boundaries have since been redrawn more accurately. Some owners have submitted preliminary subdivision plans that freeze current zoning for up to 8 years. The area of the associated properties is not included in the total acreage shown here. Adding in the 53.1 acres, 170 acres are available for multifamily housing with the compromise motion. In 2023, Lexington determined the overall dwelling capacity is 13,421 units. The compromise motion reduces the capacity to 1,314 units. There are an additional 1,097 units in the 10 pipeline projects, and the total capacity value shown here does not include an additional 4,474 unit capacity subject to a zoning freeze. This is the list of properties that have submitted a preliminary subdivision plan as of March 10th and are subject to a zoning freeze. This slide shows the compromise motion overall capacity plus the capacity from the zoning freeze properties. The overall multifamily unit capacity will be 6,885. If you vote yes, you will limit the fiscal impact and help preserve the ability to provide adequate services and infrastructure for all our residents. You'll be voting for responsible management of growth. A yes vote will allow multifamily housing to be built throughout Lexington across all 12 of the original districts. You will be preserving options for more flexible zoning. We emphasize that changes to this or any other part of the zoning bylaws can be made at any future town meeting. This compromise preserves the 159 inclusionary units in the pipeline projects, plus 10 to 15% of any units built in the areas remaining in the district in larger projects. If we vote yes, we then have the option to look at these areas that are no longer under MBTA zoning to require more than 15% inclusionary housing. This is what will happen if you vote no. Nothing would be changed in the bylaw section 7.5, which applies as of right. Site plan review applications will likely come in at a high rate and quickly lead to additional development. They will feature tall buildings and dense developments like those in the pipeline now. Major impacts on town finances will follow. If expenses associated with new residents are greater than corresponding revenues, the town will have to choose between operating overrides and service reductions. Non-financial impacts like more traffic congestion or inadequate access to recreational facilities are also likely to occur. For all of these reasons, we urge you to vote yes on the compromise motion. Thank you for your support.